Greetings, Bat Warriors. Greetings. Greg is back. Another live stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful day of life. Wonderful day of life. What a wonderful day I had. Wonderful day that I had. How was your day? One of the things that's been coming up a lot, because I have been talking about being overwhelmed and feeling energy. Energy's like final boss. And something that's really important and very focused on in terms of the results kill excuses, 1% better everyday journal volume 2 is the concept of self-care. Self-care. What does self-care mean to you? When you think about the term self-care, what does it mean to you? For me, self-care, good evening, my brother. Another sneaky live here. We're going to talk about some self-care tonight. Self-care is so important. So important on this journey. And everybody has different needs. Everybody has different things that they respond to. But not everybody has a self-care regimen. And not everybody understands when to use it. I can think back to like 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, I was like always working out. So exercise was always something that was important. But some of the other things like a massage is something I'd get like for my wedding anniversary. Like we get a couples massage once a year. And it's like, man, I get massage every week. Oh shit. Every week taking care of this sheen, this body. And it's self-care. It's completely woven into this journey, but it's definitely woven into this. And specifically in volume 2. Volume 2, I talk a lot about self-care. Falling back on the self-care. Why? Because self-care is what fills your cup, man. Like self-care is what gets you through the tough times. Because, equal and opposites, like self-care is what gets you through the tough times when you're living, right, this type of a lifestyle, life on life's terms. And in the past, it was what? Chemicals, all kinds of weird shit to just get you to feel better about yourself. But now it's like self-care is like, man, you care about yourself. And I think about if I rattled off some of the things that were like self-care for me, listening to positive affirmations, that's self-care. I think journaling is self-care because it helps to process your thoughts. It's very powerful in terms of reducing stress. Like if you're real stressed out, man, you start writing some things down, getting out some stress, writing down the worries and the fear. It don't feel so bad. That's self-care. Breathwork self-care, meditation self-care. Hugging a tree is some self-care. Kicking off your shoes and socks, just sitting in some dirt, some grass, some sand, the sun, some fresh air, listen to some bird song, doing some breath. That's self-care. Going for walks out in nature, self-care. Exercise, self-care. Healthy nutrition, also self-care. Drinking lots of water. That's probably an understated one, big time. Water consumption, lots of water. I'm surprised at how little water people drink. It's crazy. I think at the bare minimum, they say you should drink about half of your body weight in ounces. But most people don't even come close. I love going to the hot springs and getting in cold water. To me, that's self-care. Big time self-care. I like going on road trips. I like camping. That feels like self-care. Right? Self-care is like kind of like fun, healthy activities, right? Hiking feels like self-care to me. Right? Getting acupuncture, self-care. I mean, clearly in the past, right? Going to the doctor, self-care. Or is that professional care? Self-care feels like things that you can do on your own, where you don't need a professional. Maybe the doctor's not it. But then we get, I feel like massages is self-care. I think getting a massage is like an incredible way. Case in point is there's been a lot of heavy energy. Am I the only one that's experiencing all the heavy energy? I mean, it's like this week, it's been heavy. This guy right here has been like getting after it, energetically speaking, turning towards that pain. It must be something to do with the challenge, right? That I told myself, look, I'm going to challenge, these final few areas that I use, that I can see patterns of use for me to relieve pain. And it's like, those are like the final two bosses, right? It's like sex and food. The final two bosses of areas where I relieve pain. And again, you have to hear this correctly. Food is good for you. But when food controls you, because every craving you have has to be satisfied, and thus you're carrying around all this extra weight and you feel sluggish and you're not feeling healthy about yourself. Food is a major issue right now, because food is so unhealthy and the options of unhealthy food are so accessible. And then even just the cost variable is usually lower cost. So it's just even more accessible to eat calories that are just terrible for you. It's poison, just like alcohol. But the SEX is another one of those areas that I know for certain, in my heart of heart, even as a Scorpio, that I've used sex as a means of pain relief. And to unpack what I'm saying there is that sex in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's a very healthy thing. It's a very good thing. But our intentions are always not so pure. If you can't sit with yourself and deal with your pain first, so then that way when you do have a partner and you are wanting to cultivate chemistry and intimacy and romance and do these things, it's not out of a place of lack. It's not out of a place of your own personal suffering and needing to use another person, right, to relieve you of your pain. And that takes a lot of awareness. And awareness is pretty high up the ladder, right? Most people, you're either going through a continuation of self-sabotage, and possibly by listening to this and allowing my mirror to reflect at you, you're starting to sort through some self-discovery. And then if you're starting to do the work, right? If you've hopped on the 1% Better Everyday Journal Express, right? Then you're starting to understand how that there is an absolute system that will guarantee progress in your life, success in your life. Federico Garcia. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that is a painful consequence, bro. Scorpio also. That's a painful consequence, isn't it? Right? There's a lot of guilt and shame about that, even with you changing. You still got to keep living for you, bro, and you got to still be you can't allow for how other people respond to you, right? To be the thing that you're carrying around. And that's getting me right here, man. It's like the freedom of the fear. But it's starting with the pain and how we get to the pain relief. And to me, the self-care matters. The self-care is so important, especially when you write down a list. Like, what's a list? Like, give yourself a list of like the top 3 things. What are the top 3 things that you should be doing like every week that fill your cup, that definitely like 3 to 5 things every week that are like beyond your morning routine, right? Because the morning routine stuff to me is self-care, right? Waking up, positive affirmations, journaling, breath work for me, some sun gazing, some grounding, a cold shower, right? Those 6 things usually are so routine, so regimented, and they're all self-care. But what do I do when it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm feeling fucking overwhelmed? Right? How do I take care of myself then? The gym can be very beneficial. Spending time out in nature, very beneficial. Very beneficial. Going for a hike, a walk out in nature, right? But the thing I did today, I went and soaked in some hot springs this afternoon, and I went to my home hot springs, and it's kind of funny because I hadn't been there in some time, and I was even hesitant to go there today, but I had all my stuff with me, and going there today, it was magic. I was like, dude, what were you thinking? Why were you resisting doing the thing you love to do? A lot. I'm not gonna say it's the most, but I love getting in that hot water. That natural mineral water. With fountains coming off that like massage you too. Oh man. I was on cloud 9 today. Total bliss, cloud 9, just so good. So good. Good for the soul, good for the bones, the body, the muscles, the joints, the mind. Man, I'll be honest with you, I got pictures of me out in the snow, barefoot, man, walking like a mile on my ranch. Barefoot walking in the snow, dude. I mean, Wim Hof, man. Yeah, you can ground. You can absolutely ground in that snow. Oh, yeah. The stretch routine. Yeah, stretching is good. I do a lot of stretching. I do a lot of stretching. The nice thing about the hot springs is they had like the steam rooms and the saunas too. So I was like doing a lot of stretching in there. I was doing the breath work in there. But yeah, you can definitely do the barefoot in the snow. I was thinking I probably have a picture here of me cruising around barefoot at least a few times in the snow, walking around. Yeah, that's never stopped me. I mean, we get snow up here too, and I actually enjoy it. I mean, if some of you have probably seen the videos. I mean, I get in the water when it's like single digits, the river, right? There's fucking chunks of ice and shit in there. So a little snow on the ground, man, you just get it. You have to get into your breath. Just let yourself just be relaxed. Bliss out. It's all about blissing out. And no excuses. Gosh, yeah, I was looking through some pictures here, trying to see if I have any, but the self-care is, again, it's so important. It's so important that I literally, kind of like had forgotten about it even with myself. Like I was still pulling levers, right? But I needed to get back to my home water. I've been doing like a bunch of other like hot springs primarily because I like the live water, and my home one, it has like a seasonal river, and right now the river's like kind of done. And so I've been going away from my home water, but I needed that. I needed it. It's like home cooking. It's so good. It was so good. So you need to give yourself like 3 to 5 things that you enjoy doing, that you know that when you do it, you just feel better. You really do enjoy it, right? Maybe it's going for a walk out in nature, right? Maybe it's getting a massage, right? Maybe it's going for a bike ride, like maybe it's going jumping in some hot water, right? If there's hot springs near you, if you like doing that. Maybe it's going for a paddleboard or a kayak. I mean, some kind of an activity, usually outdoors, usually connected to like Mother Earth, Father Sky, like just being outside. Those types of things. But the massage is really powerful too, right? You get someone working on your body and just like working out all that tension and stuff. Like that's really good self-care. And it's just, these are the things that you start to implement in your life that maybe in the past you were like just not really cognizant of it because it's like you had other shit going on in your life, right? There's just other priorities like, oh, I gotta go watch this or do this, work on this. And it's just like when you get to a place where you're really stressed out, like this past week I've been so fucking emotionally overwhelmed, like just spontaneous. I'll just be driving and next thing you know, I'll hear something. It's like just triggers like this outburst of emotions. And then what I'm realizing is like, because I've been turning in towards my pain, that I'm actually feeling some things that I have avoided feeling, some sadness, some grief, some guilt, some shame, some regret. I'm having to just sit in that. And is it fun? No. But I heard something today. It was like I think it was Alan Watts. He was talking about when you turn towards your pain, you allow that to sculpt you. It doesn't destroy you. It doesn't defeat you. It doesn't weaken you. It sculpts you. It makes you stronger. It chisels you. It chisels you. And if you've ever had that feeling, I think there was a guy, Federico, was talking about, his family kind of has abandoned him. And it's like, I felt that. I feel that now. I feel very rejected by a lot of people, which is sad, right? Because there's a lot of people that are like, man, I wish this guy wouldn't talk. I wish this wasn't who you want to be this life. Go back to being the other guy. Right? But I don't live for other people. I'm whole and complete. One of one. You're one of one. But the other cool thing is that we're all one. But the more authentic, the more true you are to who you truly are, in the face of naysayers, in the face of, ridicule or people questioning you or teasing you or whatever it is, pressuring you. I've had literally family members pressure me saying, you better stop this or else I'm not going to be in your life anymore. It's just like, goodbye. Like that's crazy. That's kind of crazy. But that's like, it's not that crazy because think about it. How many people have literally abandoned their family over even dumber shit? Politics, social issues, right? Whether you got jabbed or not. I mean, it's crazy. So to think that someone's gonna be like, they don't wanna hear what I'm saying, this truth, they don't wanna see that light in me, and they're like, "If you don't stop, like, I'm outta here. I don't wanna be in your life." It's like which hearing that can definitely trigger a lot of fear, right? You have to question yourself like, "Man, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me?" Right? What am I doing that's so terrifying, that scares people so much? Speaking the truth, being that bright light, shining the light, right? Smashing the devil to fucking smithereens with a buttstock. Fucking. Yeah, I earned some stripes the other night. I earned a few stripes, Adam. That warrior is getting fucking forged, bro. What are we so afraid of? Ourselves. We're afraid of ourselves. That's why we stay distracted. And if you want freedom from your fear, you need to know thyself. You need to truly get to the depths of who you are and what you've experienced. It's like, that sounds so easy. It's like, man, y'all know what you've been through. Y'all know what you've been through. Why are you so afraid of it? Why? Why are you so afraid of having to confront what you've been through? What triggers that to be so scary? That we would much rather avoid it, ignore it, and allow it to fuck us up. Because it doesn't just... When you're in total denial of your story, and you're hiding and you're lying to people, or like, I'm not even trying to call you a liar, but a lot of people, you just withhold information about yourself because you're ashamed. You don't want to be seen in the full light of who you are. And there's fear there of what? Acceptance, belonging. The second greatest gift is connection. And for you to feel like you're not connected, even if the connection is based on false pretenses, meaning you have foraged who you are. You have manipulated your story by withholding the truth. There's people in like marriages that don't know the full truth of the person that they're committed to. There's people in long-term relationships. I mean, it's sad. It's sad how afraid we are to be truly seen. And if you think that even if life, like, yeah, it's going pretty good, it's like, is it really though? Do you truly have balance in these 5 areas of your life? Right? Are you mentally healthy? Where's the weakness in your chain? Is it your mental health? Your emotional health? Your spiritual health? Your physical health? Your financial health? Which is the weak link? Some of you, it's all the above. Some of you are unhealthy in every one of those aspects of your existence. And yet, I'm here to tell you that you also have 100% responsibility, if you choose, to turn every one of those into optimal health, incredible health, peak health. Starts in the mind though, right? There's a lot of people that fake the spiritual health. There's a lot of people that get the physical health and even the financial health, right? Which to me, I always start from the top down, right? The financial health is down low, right? If you have the financial health, there's a lot of people that look like, man, they're so successful. Their life must be, they're so lucky. They're living the best life. They're so abundant, da 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 da. And they're fucking miserable. They're miserable people on the inside. You see it all the time. Or do you? Are you just paying attention to the shiny things? Because if you really peel back the curtain and you say, oh, wow, eesh, these people are hurting. They're vile. But some people, they're okay like that. You know, it's kind of like selling your soul, right? You'd be willing to do that, right? Yeah, for the success. I'd rather have the success and be miserable, right? I'd rather have the bag and be miserable. And what sucks is a lot of you don't have the bag and you're miserable. But you think the bag is what's going to make you happy, and that's not true. That's not true. See, when you actually do the work from the inside out, you clear your mind, you start to go to war in love, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, empathy with yourself, and especially the mind, to start reprogramming yourself to being more positive, more optimistic, more loving. I know, that's why I'm on the outskirts of town. So I'm the outskirts, man. So they they crucified me in my hometown, politically speaking. But this is what challenges so many people, is that we've been trained. We have been programmed. Right? It's probably programmed is more like it. We've been programmed by society, by marketing, by sales, by products and services, that the thing you need most is the external. That's why plastic surgery is going up, and it's not just women. Men are having a lot of body dysmorphia issues nowadays. Men are like investing more and more and more in cosmetic enhancements. Out of what? Insecurity. Needing to compete, needing to compare with others physically. The aesthetics, it has to be right. But yet, if the inside is rotten, it's like, what is the point? Fake validation, external validation. You're willing to go through all that just for external validation, just for someone else to say, to give you a compliment. When you start to heal yourself from the inside out, doing the real work, not trying to look for cheat codes, but when you're really willing to do the work, locking in 1% better every day, no days off, 365, 24/7, putting in the work to know thyself, to set thyself free, to set everyone that's hurt you free, so that you can be free, so that you can be clear-minded, right? So that you can create more awareness so that when your emotions do get activated, you can sit with the pain, start to understand the depths, the roots of who you are. Where does this originate from in my story of life? And there's definitely a spiritual component to all that. And it's interesting that when you start to clear that, then the physical falls right into place as well. That's the self-love. That's the self-care. But see, the physical, what I learned a long time ago when I let myself go and the VA was sending me Ensure. Like, you know what Ensure is? That's like what they give like geriatric people. They were sending me those little bottles of like fucking Ensure. You know, I'm in my dang 30s, and they were sending me this shit every week, cases of it. I mean, this is like what old people drink that can't eat like solid foods. It was the craziest shit, these little cans. Right? I mean, it looks like Ensure now has expanded into like protein drinks and different shit like that. But the stuff I was getting wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was literally a nutritional supplement for like what you would give like somebody that can't eat solid foods, because I let it go so bad. And yet I had to start healing the emotional piece. And as I started healing the emotional piece, right, I've had greater and greater awareness of the nutrition, right, fitness exchange. Garbage in, garbage out. If you're eating garbage and you think you're going to look good on the other side tomorrow morning, or you're going to feel good, you're not going to feel good. You feel what you eat. If you're eating processed crap food, you're going to feel like processed crap food, which is just dead calories. You start eating whole foods, organic foods. You start learning how to cook and meal prep and really start locking yourself down to what you truly need. You're going to start feeling that, because whole foods are full of superfoods. And when you eat superfoods, you're going to start feeling like a super hero. That's how I feel. Nutrition changed my game. 2020, I shifted the total nutrition. Finally got done being stubborn, and I opened myself up to try a whole nother nutritional program, and it changed my life. And yet over here, my goal is to inspire you to do the same, right? To not be one dimensional, not just make it about fitness and you're rotten on the inside, not just to make it about being so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good, where you're just, religious with rules. That doesn't benefit nobody either, right? The spiritual health that you want is to get to a place where literally every single person you see, there's no judgment. You just see love. That's beautiful. I worked on that all afternoon today with people in swim trunks and bikinis. And I like that I've grown to that, where I can sit there and just, big is beautiful. I mean, it's not healthy, but I'm not going to sit here and judge. I'm just going to see that this is a soul and they're doing their thing. And same with you. If you're just doing your thing, do your fucking thing. But if you want something more out of life, 3333s, right? Tap in, tune in, and let's go. Let's fucking go. Where do you start? 1% Better Everyday Journal, Breath of Life Healing Circle, 101 coaching if you need it. Like the whole trifecta. Definitely just tuning in here is helpful, but it's not going to do the work for you. It's not going to get you up tomorrow listening to positive affirmations first thing, doing some journaling, doing some breath work, right? Really creating a morning routine that sets you up for success, where you're writing down some goals, writing down, some intentions for your day, so that you don't just keep doing the same thing over and over again, feeling like, well, this is just as good as it gets. It's like, no, it ain't. That's your limiting belief telling you that somehow you need to settle. You need to settle in a life where you are absolutely a co-creator. Did I give you guys the update? This was wild. So like, fuck, I don't know if it was 2 months ago, because time's moving, but I do feel like it might have been in May or maybe early June. where I tried this manifestation, right? We talk about it. Here, do these 3 things, right? No, I tried this thing about to manifest. I was listening to this lady and she's like, you know, see if you're in alignment with manifestation, right? It was like a challenge. Like see if you can manifest, right? And she was talking about like trying to manifest like 50 cents or a quarter or dollar or something. And I said, I want to okay, I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. I'm going to manifest $10. $10. I'm going to manifest this. So I saw it. I saw the $10. And what's crazy is the very next day, I'm going into a grocery store and I look down and there's a $5 bill. I got all excited. I was like, fuck yeah. I'm halfway there. One day, holy shit. Because I can't, before finding that $5 bill, it's been a while since I've come across like money on the ground. Right. I'm also in New Mexico, northern New Mexico, right? There's a lot of poverty up here. So yeah, money isn't usually just floating around down there. But there it was, $5. And I was like, yes, heck yeah. $5. I'm halfway there. But I said 10. I said 10. And it's like all this time went by. And I remember I was like, me and Adam have even done some manifestation things. And I told him, dude, I don't know, man. Like, fuck. I only got half of what I asked for. Well, you'll never guess. This past Sunday, my daughter was having a graduation party and I got done helping clean, like really going above and beyond, cleaning. And I was one of the last people to walk out. And I looked down and boom, there was the other $5. And I was so excited. I was like, oh shit. It just took time. It took a little longer. But yet I still felt like, okay, fuck, we manifested $10. I said, I'm going to manifest $10, but yet it came half and half. And yesterday I was talking about having mixed signals. And I was really meditating on that today in the hot springs about how even me, right? One moment I'm like abundant, aligned, flowing. Like right now, there's like no fear inside of me. When I'm doing this, no fears, no doubts, no worries, just total flow. But when it's like I'm away from here or I'm driving or something else is going on, it's like that little fucking critic wants to come in there and start to plant seeds of doubt, seeds of fear. And it's like I go to war with that shit, but it still wants to like rattle my cage. And it takes a lot of energy to combat that shit. Just mental energy, spiritual energy, emotional energy to like be like when all that like negative energy comes up and I still haven't quite figured it out. Sometimes I feel like it may be coming from someone else. Because I'm very empathic. And so I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of an antenna for energy. And sometimes I don't realize that it's like, wait, this isn't mine. What the fuck? Get out of here. Why am I picking up on someone else's negativity? And yet that was one of the lessons in why it showed up 50-50, right? $5 and then $5 is because there's still a part of me spiritually, mentally, that can be divided. Right? 1 minute, I'm optimistic, I'm hopeful, I'm right here. And then an hour later, I'm like down and I'm like overwhelmed and I'm having thoughts of giving up and crying and fucking yelling and like not yelling at people, but myself, like, rah. And so I'm trying to really get through this next. I mean, it's pretty much emerging as like another dark night of the soul. That's what's going on right now. Another one. Fuck. This is definitely like the third one this year. So that I can create union within myself, like to totally purge that division of mind that still has a foothold in my life. Because it's not that I can't manifest. It's just that I take responsibility that the reason why it came split like that is because, and I think a lot of people I'm talking to, you probably can relate to this, that like it's just a normal part of who we are. Like 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down. You got to learn to ride those fucking waves. Ride those waves, those energetic waves. And it is true. I mean, we are emitting a frequency, and frequency isn't just flat, you know, it goes up and down, up and down. And I believe in equal and opposite. So when you really tap into that energy where you're feeling like you're excited, right? You're getting going with 1% better everyday journal, or, you know, things are starting to move in your life because you're not just sitting back waiting for things. You're starting to face fears, tap into your courage, right? And you're actually starting to get through and stack some dubs, some wins. Coming off of those wins, though, can be like a, you know, that roller coaster. It's like, oh shit, now we got to go through a little bit of a trough. Or it's like, you know, a lot of people try to say it's like a pendulum, right? It's like you go up and you're like, yes, this is the best ever. And then it's like, oh shit. And then we could beat ourselves up. That's the most important thing, is not beating yourself up on this journey, is really, really, really having at least the bare minimum is to start cultivating that you got to have your back. You got to have your back. Like, even when you're feeling down and whatever, the self-care will work. Usually, if it's somehow immersed in nature, you're going to be able to have that clarity to be able to really just like check in with yourself. And as you're doing that, you also need to start creating those thoughts where you create the thoughts. You're not just listening to the thoughts, the voices in your head. When you create the thoughts, that's your true self. When you start telling yourself with intention, like mentally, verbally, where you start saying, it's going to be okay. You're doing great. And literally picking yourself up. I think I just recorded one of the videos, and it's just talking about self-care, where it's like, you know, how to appreciate yourself more every day, how to have more appreciation for who you are and what you're doing. And it's like, it's so foreign to us to actually like to care about ourselves. We've just always expected someone else to do it. And if they're not doing it, then we feel like we're worthless. Anybody relate to that? Where you feel like you're a piece of shit because you must not be good enough. Something's wrong with you because someone else isn't showing up for you. If you try and wait that out for someone to show up for you, which is literally waiting for someone to come and rescue you, do you really think that is ever going to happen? You got to do the self-rescue. You got to self-rescue, right? And the sooner the better. The sooner the better. It's almost like every day you don't make a choice to do the self-rescue, right? It's like there's just more to do. You've let more go slip by. Every day you're not doing, more is slipping away. Because Prove me wrong, but you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no like, well, I'm right here, man. I'm just right here in my little safe zone, my little comfort zone. And I don't really feel like I'm getting worse. It's like, what? What are you talking about, man? You're not being honest with yourself. If you're just staying in a safe zone, you are not getting better. Thus, you're getting worse. There's no in between. There's no like, well, I'm just kind of hanging in there. I mean, even just by the law of entropy, you're dying. You're one day closer to death. Like, let that sink in. Every person listening, you're one day closer to death. When it happens, none of us know. But you're one day closer for sure. But you act like, oh, I got plenty of time. I'm going to wait to do it next year, at the beginning of the year. It's like, dude, what? Who's promising you this? Do you think you're here by an accident? Do you think you're hearing this message just by random chance of all the content out there in this universe that you're here, you're listening, you're tuned in, and yet you're still sitting there on the sideline? Which, if you have been sitting on the sideline, I'm going to give you an incentive to get off of the sideline. I think tomorrow, through the weekend, I'm going to run a deal site-wide, results kill excuses. I think it's going to be like 25% off any order, site-wide, promo code FREEDOM. Yeah, or I should do promo code FFF, freedom from fear. Triple F. Freedom from all your fears. But we're going to run that deal through the weekend. The triple F, freedom, so that you can get on the bandwagon. The results kill excuses, 1% better every day. Express. To really start like taking ownership of your life. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy. But that doesn't mean it's simple. All you have to do is show up. All you got to do is pull the trigger. Right here, resultskillexcuses.com. Go to shop, go to print products, and pick a product. Any product will do to get started. Personally, I'd get the volume 1 and 2 bonus pack. And there's something really cool coming out. There's always new stuff coming out. I'm going to keep it a secret till tomorrow, though. New product launch tomorrow to help those of you that like journaling. Those of you that are really wanting to do more and more journaling. We're going to be launching a new product tomorrow. 2 new products, actually. It's going to be 2. 2 new products tomorrow associated with journaling. It's not volume 3 or 4. It's not volume 3 or 4 yet. It's going to be excited. I get excited about having like being able to hold all 4 of those, put together a package for everyone. But the other thing that I'm thinking to do is anybody that does make a purchase, right, tomorrow for at least a 1% better everyday journal, you're going to get entered in for an opportunity to do a coaching session with me one-on-one. And I think that is a pretty incredible opportunity for you. In just one session, you're going to have a lot of clarity. I guarantee it. You're going to have a lot of clarity, especially if you're a note taker or a journaler, right? They say note takers are money makers. You're going to be able to start writing some things down, getting some clarity, getting some direction on your life. My number one goal is to help as many people as possible through my story, through the fact that I am cultivating greater and greater levels of freedom each and every day by continuing to face my fear, turning towards any pain that pops up, not running from it, not trying to avoid it, just sitting in it. Oh, I gotta just sit in it. And sometimes you gotta cry, sometimes you gotta yell, right? And sometimes you gotta just go do some self-care shit. Sometimes you gotta do some more gentle things like hug a fucking tree, kick off some shoes and socks, just to bring your cortisol levels down. But then you gotta realize that, like, that is where you are sculpted. That is where your strength is developed. You're soft if you're staying in your comfort zone. You're a coward if you stay in your comfort zone. When you really start to fucking man up, woman up, whatever, get into the real Banff warrior mindset, it's like turning to your pain, your internal emotional pain. That is where strength, that is where the truest form of strength is developed inside of you. Because that takes a ton of courage to sit there. And it's like, it's challenging, but every time you do it, you get stronger. It's a skill. It's a skill. It's not something that someone like me just naturally had available. No, I've had to develop the skill. And I didn't just develop the skill by being able to turn towards my emotional pain. I developed the skill by turning to other things that also make me feel uncomfortable. Cold showers, hot water, hot water, right? There's like nice, comfy water, like, 102 to 104. But when you start getting to like the 111s, 115s, fuck. You got to just sit in it. Be still. That cold water, you got to just sit in it. Find your breath. I mean, I'm telling you, the other day, I had a lady give me this massage. I fucking wanted to cry, man. It was like, I don't know what. She was hitting something on my, like the arch of my back behind my heart chakra. And she had her whole elbow in me. Like, she's not even the biggest lady ever, man. She just like had that elbow in me. And the knot that she was fucking undoing, this was an old thing, man. It wasn't from this life. And I was just sitting there trying to breathe, saying, surrender, just surrender, bro, surrender. And I'm wanting to cry, and I'm wanting to fucking call for my mommy to come save me. I mean, it was excruciating. And I just fucking sat in it, man. Just surrendered to that physical pain. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But if you can kind of warrior up, fucking get hardcore about some physical pain, I mean, emotional it's different. It's deeper. And what it requires you to do is to be able to open up the floodgates. You probably need to cry some tears. And this is what we do in the breath of life, right? This is what the breath of life allows you to activate, is a safe container for you to scream. If you need to scream, like, this is a part of it. Screaming, crying, yelling, right? You usually get a pillow and you put it over your face, but you just have these energetic releases. We just need a release in a safe fucking environment. And it feels so good to just have that level of weight come from inside of you. All this energy that just you give it freedom. You give it life to say, just be free. But most of us are like so scared, like, what? You guys are screaming and yelling. Yes. I've been in rooms with 40 people and every person's doing something different. These ones are screaming. These ones are crying. These ones are fucking laughing. I mean, it's just like all over the place. But it's beautiful because it's people releasing what needs to be released. And the laughing maybe doesn't make sense to you, but it does if you think about it in terms, if you're somebody that's so fucking serious all the time. For you to activate just humor, laughter, joy, because you're so serious and you're so depressed and you're so overwhelmed and you're so fucking trapped and stuck inside your own head that you can't even just literally just start to laugh. Like it feels so good when you even forcefully activate laughing in your own body. And it's also very magnetic, right? If there's things that you're wanting to attract in your life, the happier you are. See, a lot of people have it backwards. You think that once you get the thing, you'll be happy. That's not how it works. I understand the law of attraction very much so. I don't talk about it so much here because I'm more focused on people getting their minds clear. But a big part of like the joy and the process of healing is by like connecting, having compassion for the emotions, the pain. But a part of that is to also counteract it with joy and happiness and start stimulating that in your body as well. If you're so serious and so overwhelmed and stressed out, to literally start activating being genuinely happy, laughing just to laugh. Knowing that it's attractive, right? If you see yourself and you're walking around all day and you're hunched and you're just like kind of, I used to be that guy, just walking down fucking, you know, trying to be as big as I possibly could and just angry, a fuck you face all on my, always walk around with a fuck you face, right? It's the equivalent of like a bitch face for the girls, right? Guys can walk around with a fucking fuck you face, you know? It's like, that's like that'll be attractive to a few people, but it's not attractive to the universe. It's not going to bring in the thing you're desiring. When you start to find your bliss, when you start to find happiness, when you start to really give yourself permission to be happy, just to be it, to be happy, to set a minimum bar standard that for you to wake up in the morning, do you know you can tell yourself this? Before you go to bed, you could be laying there and you could say, you know what? I'm going to create a contract with myself right now, verbally, that when I wake up in the morning, that just by waking up alone, that I get to be happy. You could tell yourself this stuff. And it's like, then when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, wait, I woke up. Yeah, let me be happy. Right? I say these two things right before I go to bed every night. I say, tomorrow, I believe wonderful things are going to happen to me. And I usually say it 3 times. And then I say that tomorrow I will, this is a declaration, tomorrow I will expand in abundance, love, success, freedom, and opportunity. Right? And then when I wake up, first thing I say today, right? Because I'm going to bed and I'm saying tomorrow, wonderful things are going to happen to me. Tomorrow, I will expand in abundance, love, success, freedom, and opportunity. And when I wake up, I say today, wonderful things are going to happen to me. Today, I will expand in abundance, love, success, freedom, and opportunity. Right? Because if you don't say some shit like that, what is your head saying? Oh, another day. Oh, shit, it's fucking Monday. Oh, shit, I'm late. Oh, shit, this. Oh, shit, that. Right? Am I wrong or am I right? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Shit. Another fucking day. Oh, shit. Instead of like, fuck yeah. Woo. Let's do this. Wonderful things. Wonderful things. I was listening, Joe. I listened to something that had Joe Dispenza in there, and I love that guy. His story is incredible, inspires the hell out of me, and I've been following him for many years. But he said something about, and it's something I've always said, which it's to to expect the unexpected. Because here's the mindset. He says that if you don't expect the unexpected, the reason why most people wake up miserable in the morning is because you already assume that you know what's going to happen that day. Like if it's a Friday, or even if it's the 4th of July, like you already have an assumption, like there's no surprise in your life. You already are like, I know it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to do the do and the barbecue and the brewski or whatever, boo boo boo. It's like you already know it. You've already subconsciously told yourself what is going to happen because you're so overly strategic. And when you're so overly strategic, you don't leave any room for the divine magic to happen in your life. Because there is something so beautiful and powerful when you step into the unknown. The unknown is it's the blank canvas. But you can plant seeds for things that have yet to come, and start planting seeds as if they have already shown. But you don't need to know the how. See, most people were so intellectual, so cerebral. It's like, how is that possible? How am I ever gonna do? How can I ever afford this? Or how am I ever gonna have time to do that? It's like, man, how? I don't. And it's just like, fuck. It's the wrong mindset. It's the wrong spirit. You have to realize you're an infinite being. There's no limitations. You're co-creator. If you can imagine it in your mind, I believe it. You can hold it in your hand. I mean, where did these come from? Where did these come from? These came from me journaling, people asking me, hey man, like, I'm really inspired by whatever it is that you're doing. You always talk about journaling. Like, how can you help me to do journaling? And right away, my mind said, fuck, I don't know. But then I had a vision, and I still have the little scrap piece of paper, and I literally drew out all the little components of what I kind of do. And I said, yeah, I'm going to make this fun and easy for people that are just getting started. It's literally the Results Kill Excuses 1% Better Everyday Journal is like the training wheels. But even for people, but it goes beyond that. It's like, it's kind of like, it has right. It's like a multiverse. Because there is like a training wheel part of it where it's like, just spoon fed positive affirmations and, gratitude jars, and then just some reflections and setting some goals and writing down some more affirmations. But then there's like this whole master class that you have to start digging deep and looking into the mirror. And the best part about that is that you get this type of coaching, guidance, lessons from me to you to help you, guide you through the entire 91-day process. For those, like the most important courses, it's like, I think going to be 100 videos, and it'll probably get even more than that. Once I start doing some revisions and edits and kind of catch up on everything, it's like, man, it's going to be a lot. I love over delivering. I love teaching. I love just talking. This is nothing. To share the story. This is something that I do get a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment out of life, knowing that I'm reaching people. But that's where everything came from. The phone, everything, the cup, everything you see, someone thought about it first. And in your own life, you have to, I guarantee you have an example of something there that you thought of, and then you constructed it or created it or drew it or whatever it is, whatever talent or creative gift you had. Maybe you thought of a song and you wrote a song. I mean, like, this is how everything is done. You're a creator, which is a whole nother part of it. And it's also big into volume 2, is really tapping into more creativity, getting yourself aligned with learning the skills, giving yourself permission to learn new skills that will develop your talents, that can develop your gifts. Like, that's another big part of this. Deepening your ability to try new things, to develop new things. Because there's some things inside of you that you like. I guarantee you, I've spent almost 10 years in higher education, like sort of in an advisor role, even winning national awards for helping veterans. And the one thing that I always pushed on everyone that was coming in was to do like what's called a career interest assessment. And really what that is, you know, it's like taking a little test, and it basically aligns you with things that you're more heart interested in than just money interested in. Like your innate interests. And I would get it all the time, you know, especially from veterans, like, you know, fucking artillery guys saying, I want to be a nurse. And I'm like, really, bro? Why do you want to be a nurse? Well, my TO said that it's good money. And I'm like, yeah, but dude, are you going to really want to be a fucking nurse? Having an artillery background on your worst day, having to show up and clean people that are having their very worst day. They're covered in poop, and your job is to clean all the fucking poop off of them. You're down, like, that's the kind of shit you're down for, bro. What are you talking about? I'm like, dude, that's part of the job. I've been there. And they're like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna just stick to the business degree I'm doing. I was like, yeah, I think that might be best, bro. Don't just do stuff for the money, right? Heart-centered. And there's a lot of you listening right now that probably have given up on some kind of education, whether it's trade school or tech school or even just formal education, as if like somehow you can't make a shift. It's like, dude, I earned 3 college degrees in my 30s with a family, with lots of responsibilities. I made the shit happen. And I've always told people, like, you know, again, I support all areas of learning, because what I do believe it does is it'll open doors. I talk to the youth all the time now, and I always tell them, a college education is not going to get you rich. However, at least in this society, we still put value on it. Why? It's just the way it is. And so you'll always get more money if you have it. But to me, I also try and tell them the proper channels to where it's like where I'm at now in New Mexico, you can get your education for free, where you don't have to pay out of pocket. So you don't need to go and like break your bank just to try and get that education. There's lots of community college, public institutions, trade schools. There's a lot of opportunities out there for people to learn new skills. But you have to have an openness. Again, the emphasis is on new. Are you willing to do new things? The more new things you try, which can be very scary, right? It can activate a lot of fear because there's unknown. But I just told you the best place to be is in the unknown. Because if every one of your days is already predetermined at your subconscious level, there's no surprises. And that's why you feel like you're stuck. And that's why you feel like it's a broken record, because you're not doing anything to switch up. No pattern interrupts. You're not trying new things. You're just literally going through the same old routine. And thus you've already predetermined what every day just about looks like. And it's like you have to start doing some juke moves on your fucking existence. That's how you break through, by trying some new things, taking a longer route to work, just simple things that can start there. But then you can start doing some bigger things as you get more confident, as you get deeper into the results kill excuses, 1% better everyday journal. You start getting some clarity, start getting some traction. You start feeling that you're not alone. There's actually a community here of people, right, wanting to see you succeed, not looking to criticize you and judge you and laugh at you, like everyone else out there does. But at least here, what I see is a lot of positivity, a lot of encouragement, people really willing to show up for themselves. And certainly, if you're showing up for yourself, you're going to show up for others. Like, I never see successful people, like, very rarely, people that are doing the work, like criticizing, judging, gossiping. It's like, no, man, that's for, that's for, like, that's a whole nother person caught up in the bullshit that's sitting there with all that. This is not that shit wouldn't last here. Most of those people are pretty repelled by this light. And hopefully they'll have their awakening so that they could come back too and start to figure shit out and not feel like they have to do it alone. Freedom from fear. Setting yourself free. Face everything and rise. Your dreams have a lot. If you're someone, as I just see all these ones, ones, as I say, your dreams have a lot. The dreams are packed with a lot of stuff, especially if you're someone that has a hard time processing in the awakened state. If you have a hard time doing that, awakened, you'll do a lot of processing in your sleep. I still do a lot of processing in my sleep. Waking up with cold sweats and shit, you're like, fuck, man, that's some heavy thing. That's some heavy dreaming tonight. Processing a lot of shit. Integrating a lot of things. That's the reason why I gave up THC. It's not the only reason. I don't like the health issues with it, the smoking especially. But I kept asking. I knew there's a few reasons. It's not the only reason. I gave up THC in December of 22. So we're going on 3 years now. But I had 9 years actually. I had a relapse in 2020, the pandemic, right? Pandemic got me smoking, going up in smoke again. And I went, what is that? 3 years. Or 2 years. I got caught up in the THC for 2 years, but I was 9 years sober from THC, then 2-year relapse, and now I'm back to 3. I actually never thought I would stop utilizing THC, but I'm one of these people that I'm so self-aware that it's like there's very few things that I would put in my body that it has to, my measure where I look at things is like, does me putting this in my body make me a better version of who I am? And the answer 10 times out of 10 is usually no. And thus I have to ask myself, like, well, then why would I put it in my body? Well, it's just kind of fun, man. I had a guy ask me today if I wanted what the fuck, what do you call it? I don't even know what he called it, man. But it was some kind of electric fucking, like, it was like a electric joint or something. He's like, you want some, bro? He got all excited to offer it to me. He wanted to be my friend. I felt so bad. He wanted to be like my best friend. I was at the hot springs and I walked out to my car and he wanted to be my friend. He fucking share his E joint with me. I was like, oh, he's like, hey man, you want a dab? That's what he called it, a dab. He's like, you want a dab, bro? And I was like, nah, dude, I don't do no dabs, doggy. No dabs here, bro. I appreciate you though. I gave him a lot of respect. I was like, I appreciate you, man. Like, thanks. That means a lot that you offered it to me, but nah, no dabs, dude. I'm on that doing life on life's terms shit. Sober, bro. Life on life's terms. And that's my thing. Like, I'm not here to just try and judge anybody. I don't care, man. If you do whatever the fuck you want to do. I'm just telling you, if you really want to get serious about this shit, you can't take that chemical stuff with you. It'll just handicap you. You can try it. I'm just letting you know it's gonna be a vicious cycle. And if you're somebody that's like wanting to negotiate that with yourself, then you're probably just not fully ready. I mean, you can start doing the work, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you'll have that awakening. I just I don't think it's like oil and water, you know? It's just sort of like, to me, it's just, it doesn't make sense. There's not, it's misalignment to be, again, the self care, the self love, right? The true authenticity. It's like you realize that, like, you've told yourself you need these things. And I was there. I like literally needed, I was a wake and baker and a fucking bong ding ding night night, like all day, man. I mean, there was even times, I mean, with alcohol, I was just totally out of control. I remember when I was in the military, I would make Irish coffees in the morning, which is with what, Bailey's, or Mexican coffees with Kahlua. Like, I would literally be drinking and driving into work, the military. It's like, fuck, man. We were out there fucking running like trails and all kinds of shit with fucking canteens full of alcohol. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, I had a problem. But you know what it was? I was the problem. And what was it? It was the pain. Because there's nothing fun about getting all fucked up. It was just, it took some, it numbed the pain. And the thing about the pain is, I didn't have awareness that I even had the pain. I didn't know what the fuck it was, because I've been carrying that pain my whole fucking life. Before I was even born, I was carrying the stress hormones. Like, I've been carrying that pain the entirety of this life. It wasn't like I had like a window of like 1 year with no trauma, no pain, no terror. No, that shit was fucking, it was already rooted in me while I was in my mother's womb, man. Like, when I came out, I was like clinging. No, I don't want to go out. I remember my whole dream. I didn't want to come out. And yet, that's what's interesting, is like, you know, a lot of us, we have pain inside of us. We have the trauma and the emotional pain, but it's been there so long that we just think that that's just our baseline, that that's just who we are. But when you actually start to like turn towards it and identify it and really investigate it, and, you know, be a bit of a detective about who you are, what you experienced, how that has impacted you, what patterns can you see in your life that seem to like stand out in terms of like circumstances that are less than ideal. Once you really get curious about that, it's like it becomes very obvious. And I think anybody that's joined me in going down that path and doing the life review will say, yeah, hell yeah. It's like, once you start to see the dots and you start to connect them, you're like, oh shit. And yeah, there is like a little bit of shame, and there's wishing that things were different. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think the video I posted today was all about wishing and willing. Right? Wishing is just wanting. It's unfulfilled. It's passive. Yeah, I wish things were different. I wish I didn't fuck up. I wish I didn't do that. I wish I didn't do that. I wish I didn't do that either. Wish everything was, this was different and that was different and this, and wish I had said something different. Wish I didn't do that. And it's like, you're stuck if you're a wisher. What you need to be is a willing. Have an open heart. That's what shifted me. When I hit my rock bottom, I said, I'm willing to fucking do everything. I'm going to try. I'm going to do everything. I'm willing to try. I'm willing to go check it out. I'm open. I'm willing. Yeah, I'm willing to go try that too. I'm willing to give it a try. Willing to go do that. Willing to try that. And actually follow up with it. And very rarely along this journey did I ever say, that was the dumbest shit ever. Don't know why I did that. I didn't, you know, again, I was just curious. There's mystery to this existence, you know? There's a lot of weird beliefs out there that can leave you feeling like there's a fucking quick fix to your problems. And I'm somebody that's way too analytical. I'm way too stubborn. I learned this about myself yesterday. Is I'm born in the year of the horse, and horses are historically stubborn. The good thing about horses being stubborn is you can't fool them, because they're just like instantaneously they're stubborn, which means that they're skeptical. And so it has to be a compelling thing, like what you say and what you do, it has to be in alignment. I mean, I also kind of have always felt like, there's some people in the Bible when I was really into that. They were called the Bereans. And the Bereans were just way more inquisitive, way more in depth. Like you couldn't just. It's a will. Nice. I love that, bro. I love that. Why just tomorrow, dude? Maybe that's your higher self. The Bereans, though. Yeah, the Bereans were always like, they were just really looked up to, because fuck, you just couldn't hoodwink them, man. These people did the research, right? They didn't just believe what the fuck everyone said. They went and researched. And I feel like I have that same spirit in me. And if you're here, there's probably a little bit of that in you too. And it's a good thing that you can't just be taken away by every nuance and new shiny thing. Freedom is a pretty important goal. And I can promise you, on the other side of your fear is greater and greater and greater. It's like every time you face a fear, you have a little more freedom. Every time you face a fear. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What's holding you back? What's keeping you scared? If you can figure that out and face it with some courage, some clarity, and maybe even just sometimes you just got to take a leap of faith, right? I've taken some pretty big leaps of faith in my life where I've taken literal leaps of faith, right? But I've also taken some spiritual ones where you're just like, you're there and you're just like, all right, I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump and see what happens. What do I have to lose? Oh, my life. Well, a lot of you are pretty unhappy with your lives. Maybe if you can overcome your fear of death, because it's certain, at least this time, right? And stop playing it so safe. Stop worrying about what other people are thinking, right? Overcome your fear of death. I think a lot of people are very afraid to die. And I think what is the root of that, what comes through to me intuitively as I'm thinking about that, is I think they don't truly believe what they think they believe about it. I think there is still so much uncertainty, regardless of your beliefs, regardless of if you're religious or not. I think there's just still a mystery. And yet there's also a thing where it's like, We think we have time, and because there's a spiritual aspect to what we're doing here, the spiritual part can be seen and manifested in the physical, but there's a lot of it that's very invisible. And so when you have a fear of death, you're uncertain about what happens next, what happens after. Yeah, that's well said, Adam. Adam says, I have come to the conclusion that to the degree in which we can face the truth is the degree we can heal from fear/pain. The deeper the acceptance, the deeper the healing. Yeah, that's well said. The truth is a very slippery thing, though. Especially see the thing where you have to have some grace, where you have to have some, not be so rigid, you have to kind of like lighten up, is most studies have shown that we only remember about 50% of what actually happened. And so if you remember 50% or less, and then you go and talk to somebody that was there, their chances of they're going to remember about 50% or less. And then you talk to another person, you get 50%. So you have a piecemeal composite of more or less what happened. The greater thing is just to get to a more universal approach to just saying that you're going to go through a forgiveness ritual, a process of forgiving. It's being in that spirit of forgiveness that, even if you have to just sort of like, I don't want to say, it's not make it up, but it's just declare it as best as you can with even a fuzzy knowledge, just to say, yeah, like I've worked with people that say, I think this happened to me. I don't know for sure, but I do think so. And I said, just write it down. It doesn't cause any harm for you to think something happened. You write it down, but then we want to get all caught up. Well, I don't know if it for sure happened. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Just fucking write it down. And then who's the person associated with that? Who do you think was the other person involved that could have hurt you? Oh, well, it was so-and-so. Okay, well then, is it going to harm them in their spirit for you to, if this was actually factually never happened, and you forgive somebody for doing something that never happened, you forgive them, you release them, like that, there's still healing in that. There's still a lightening of the connection because for whatever reason you brought this up. So it's still worth it to go through the process of release. It's never a bad thing. It's like exercising. It's never a bad thing to go work out. It's never a bad thing to eat healthy meals versus unhealthy meals. You're never going to be like, fuck, why did I eat healthy today? Or fuck, I've never felt that. I felt like shit going into the gym, probably needed someone to carry me in. But once I got in there and I started getting after it, I'm like, fuck yeah. Good job, bro. I'm proud of you for getting it done. That's me talking to myself. Proud of you, bro. Proud of you for getting it done. We feel great. Good job. Good job keeping promises to yourself. And so the same is true with this. We have fuzzy memories, and yet people have to be so specific. And it's just like, man, just when you're doing the life review, you try and flesh out as much as you can. And the more you write out, it's kind of funny, like new ideas come through. I've had people that totally freak out though, because their childhood memory has gone blank. What do you think that means? What do you think that means? That means it was probably pretty bad. that they've suppressed. And I did this too. I stopped retaining memories because of how traumatic it was. So it was really healthy and helpful for me to go to other people that were present during these times to get some of the blanks filled in. Not so that I can put someone on trial and fucking take them to court and ruin their lives. It's like, that's not what this is about. It's about just saying, okay, cool. I have a better understanding of the experiences I've had. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm here to accept my life. It's acceptance. Adam just mentioned it. It's acceptance. Just accept your life. However much of your life you can get figured out, you will absolutely be able to process through that stuff. And what I've seen with me is I've had like some pretty big purges, but where I'm at now, it's like there's still like there's residue that I'm having to deal with, some fine tuning of like, oh shit, like this is still here, and I know where it comes from because I now have a pretty good narrative on my experience and I understand how it all interconnects. And so it's much easier for me to process and turn towards the pain and accept the truth and release any resentment or pent up, negativity towards other people, whether it's there or not. I just still continue to go through it and just send love I send love to people that could have done some pretty good damage in my life. Send them love, send them health, send them prosperity, send them peace, healing. Right? That's taking the high road. This is the high road. This is the solar path, the path of light. And it's time to get it done. If you want more freedom, face your fear. Right? The more that you face your fear, you're going to start to uncover deeper parts of who you are and what you've been through. And that's always going to set you up for greater successes, greater capacity to heal, greater capacity to grow, to expand, and to ultimately become the best version of yourself. Right? That's the goal. Can you see how far you can go becoming the best version of yourself? Fulfilling your purpose on this planet. The number one purpose, become the best version of you. Transcend all the pain, all the suffering, all the hurt. Right? Transcend it. Release it. Shed that stuff so you can just fucking fly, man. Because freedom is flying. Doesn't freedom feel like you're flying like an eagle? Every time I think of freedom, yeah, I'm from the US, but I just think of eagle. I see an eagle soaring. That freedom frequency, it feels so good. Just soaring. And when you are still holding on to things inside of you, it's literally weight. You're literally holding on to things. Even energetically, they weigh you down, right, to the ground. And the more that you release things, you do start to like, that's enlightenment. And, I haven't levitated, but I definitely have felt the sensation of spiritually flying because of the lightness in my spirit, the lightness, the open-heartedness, the openness spiritually, because I have just released so much of the baggage, so much of the burden that can just, it weighs us down. You see people just hunched over. When you're walking around tomorrow, walk around, look at people. People are so down on themselves. People are just walking around like this, their heads down. They're not even that messed up. They're just sad. They're down. And they're weighed down by the things that they've had to live through. And they continue to tell themselves that they wish it was different. So they're still waiting for it to be different. when all you have to do is have a willingness to say, I'm going to make it different. I'm going to change the narrative. I'm not going to sweep it under the rug anymore. I can't just scribble it out, right? But I can give it new meaning. And ultimately, yeah, good posture is huge self-care, but it's also self-confidence. Like, all right, if you lack self-confidence, like you're not looking people in the eyes, your head's down, your shoulders are in. But when you walk, even if you're just trying to build confidence, like try and walk more upright and swing your shoulders a little bit. You can be a little, like, who cares if, it's going to feel awkward at first, but you'll feel more confident. You may feel a little insecure because you're not used to it, but there's definitely, search it, videos on how to walk and present yourself more confident, which is what you need. You need to have confidence in yourself. Believe in yourself. That is a key ingredient for your success. If you don't believe in yourself, if you're still doubting, it's not going to get there. You're not going to get there. That's that mixed messages, right? That's the duality of saying, oh, 1 minute, yeah, I can do it. I'm motivated. I just listened to a video. Yeah, I'm all pumped up. But then an hour later, it's off. And now you're like, no, I can't do this. I fucking suck. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a this, I'm a that. It's like, dude, quit, stop beating yourself up. Stop that shit now. Pick yourself up, right? Write down some affirmations. Get back into a journal, right? Listen to positive affirmations. I think that's all I got for you guys for tonight. I appreciate everyone that's here, taking your time to listen to this message. I hope it added value to your life. I hope it's inspiring you to put in some work, become the best version of yourself. Just remember, you don't have to do it alone. We can do this together. Thank you to everyone that comments and communicates and shares the message, subscribes, and for sure, those of you that have been courageous enough to take me up on the 1% Better Everyday Journal. I'm going to be running a special this weekend. I'll put out some kind of a blast in the morning on that, and I'm going to be launching a couple other products too. So be on the lookout for new things coming your way here at Results Kill Excuses. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it.